The information discussed on Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell is believed to be from reliable sources. However, no responsibility is assumed for inaccuracies. No statement made on this broadcast should be construed as a specific recommendation of a particular investment product. Views expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent those of CBS Radio. Use only as directed.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. And prepare yourself for...
Show me the money!
Ladies and gentlemen, the radio broadcast experience designed to keep your wallet in top condition. It's Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Talkin' money. Talkin' money.
More money, more money, more money.
And now entering the studio, your guru for fiscal fitness, Jeff Tarbell.
Yeah. How you doing? Oh, God. Hello. This thing is blowing me out. How are you doing? This is Talkin' Money. My name is Jeff Tarbell. That's John Fodero, who doesn't even have his headphones on yet. And I sound like I am talking into the old tin can there. Hello. How are you?
Good morning.
I think our mobile equipment is better than the stuff in the studio. This was supposed to be new. I don't get it. We are back, Jack. Back in the studio. I have got loads and loads of material. None of it any good or interesting, but we'll make something out of it. I'm just kidding. And lots of stuff to give away. Our numbers here in the studio, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 441140. I'm going to have a little text quiz going on for you today as well, now that I can see the text machine. We start every Saturday the same way if I'm in the studio and I remember. I think it was like two-thirds of the way through the show last week, John goes, "You forgot about Chris." I go, "I did. If I'm not looking at his big mug in the front of me there, I forget that we always do the 30 seconds from the mind of Christopher Laud, which will blow you away." So without further ado, go ahead, big guy.
Well, I just want to say that I'm a minority in this country, or I like Major League Baseball more than the NFL. I know that's heresy. You shouldn't say that.
Right.
But, like, one of the problems I have, if someone says, like, "Oh, I don't like baseball, it's too slow, there's not enough for me," fine, that's cool, whatever. That's what your opinion is. But when people say, "Oh, I hate baseball because it's the same teams every year," same teams, it's always the same teams. Well, let me know who had the A's, Nationals, Cincinnati Reds, Detroit Tigers, and even the San Francisco Giants weren't a lock, especially after Melky Cabrera went down.
Right.
So, I mean, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But I would say that the parity in baseball is even better than the NFL. If you look at the past teams that win the World Series, who knew that the Tampa Bay Rays would go? The Colorado Rockies were there 5 years ago. The Phillies won it a couple years ago. So you got quite a big selection in baseball that I don't think people realize.
There's been some awesome games the last few weeks.
Every series won 5 games.
I know. Now, do you got the rally towel that I gave you there? You got your Oakland A's rally towel?
I sure do.
Okay.
They're still in it. They have Game 6 tonight, right?
Game 6 is tonight. I will see you down there. And I actually got you front row seats this time, so enjoy yourself.
All right. I heard there's no parking fee either.
Nope, you're all good. Speaking of the A's, and I did get a chance to go down to the Tuesday game, so it'd be the game, game 4. Yeah, so the game they won there in the 9th inning. And I'd have to say, from a game standpoint, the game was a 9.5. I mean, of course, you win 2 outs and you win right at the end, and that was awesome. From a fan experience standpoint, going to an Oakland A's game, not so great. Not so great. That, I think what they could hope for in Oakland that would be a total service to them is, like, right now when the building's empty, that there's like a 6.9 epicenter right in the center field of that stadium. That place is the biggest pile of crap, and it's pure concrete crap I've forgotten. It's been years and years since I've been down there, and it is sad. You name, Chris. I haven't been around the country much, but name me a place that has NFL football, Major League Baseball, and pro basketball all in the same spot, and there isn't a single bar around the entire. I mean, you can't go to a restaurant. There is nothing around that place to stop it. And I go, let's just get something to eat on the way there, like you would go to San Francisco. You could get there's nothing. It is a complete dump around Oakland, and now I know why. Aren't the now the Warriors are moving across the bay, right?
They're going to San Francisco.
Yeah, they're going to be on the pier. That's going to be sweet. I've never seen that pier. Now you know why the A's want to go down to San Jose, And you can be damn sure that if the Raiders get the chance to go to if LA builds that new football stadium, they're down the road, man. They're out of there. That place is a dump. And I don't know what your perspective is on what a fan's rights are when you come to a game and what you're allowed to do and not do. And I'm all for being energetic and having fun, but these two a-holes behind us had some kind of
a-hole.
They had some kind of I don't even know what so you know the air horns, like the compressed air horns? Okay, those are loud. This thing was twice that loud, and he was sitting right behind us. And he was, and this was going on, and he was screaming at the top of his lungs, "Get off your ass, Dave. We're the biggest fans in the world." And he was just screaming, and everybody's looking at him like, dude, we're all here to have a good time. And these two guys were losing their minds. And I thought, you know what? Even if you pay your $100, at some point in time, you have to say enough is enough. And this is fairly, I don't know. Good thing I don't carry a concealed weapon with me at all games. So it was not the best experience. And then the next night we were sitting on the couch drinking a beer, watching the game. I thought this is a hell of a lot better. It's more comfortable. You
got to know what you're going into. The A's fans, especially during the playoffs, is the closest you're going to get to European soccer.
Soccer. I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah. It was what was totally hilarious about it is that when you're walking around, you could tell. I mean, if you ever watched a regular season A's game, there's like nobody there, right? So the true A's fans that were there were really irritated. They're like, "Damn, I got to wait to go to the bathroom, and I can't even get a beer." They were just so irritated. All these people like myself were down there, but it was not the greatest experience. And my wife's like, "No, why do you want to go to the Giants game?" I said, "Because the Giants is a completely different experience. You go to a nice restaurant, you hang out there, and you watch." A game. Go ahead, Chris. Got his headphones.
The problem there is people are complaining that it was too quiet. They're saying that people aren't cheering. So you want a loud crowd or you want a quiet crowd, or you can look at your Kindle all night.
I just want to sip my wine and watch a little baseball. Does that make that's so wrong? So anyway, that was my.
I want to enjoy the evening.
Yeah, that was my Oakland A's experience, and there was we ran into quite a few people that were River Cats people there, and they looked at us and they're like. The River Cats experience is so phenomenal compared to that, and it is. I mean, what they've got going on at Rayleigh Field is just phenomenal. No, it's not. It was not the Vuvuzela thing that they had in the soccer. It wasn't one of those things. This was the guy hit it like that, and it was the most ear-pitching sound. I literally was almost deaf. It was like sitting at Van Halen's concert on the microphone, the speakers. It was ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. Enough of that. Their games are over. Good for them. They again overachieved, and like Chris said, if you don't like baseball, that's fine. But to see what they did with so little money was phenomenal.
That was awesome.
Throwing some rookies out there. So it was an interesting event. I do have a little text question I'm going to throw out there today at 339. Texting at 441140. Let me know what you think. We'll pick out our interesting comment and we'll throw it on the line there today. We've got a few more passes for the Sacramento Mountain Lions left. They got a few games left. We'll do that. And you're cookie now. You're supposed to do that during the break. And we've got one Hellway gift certificate. We'll give that away too. And of course, we always have some Jim Boy's tacos. As we get prepared for ski season, we do have our ski sponsors coming back this winter too. Thankfully, we'll get a little snow this week. That'll be awesome. So here's my text question for you. You don't have to call or answer. Just give me kind of a yes or no or why you think we should or shouldn't. Fairly big controversy. This is nationwide, by the way. Not only is California looking at doing this, but the whole nation is looking at the death penalty and whether enough is enough, and whether you support it or against it. Do you think it's time in California that we end the death penalty? This is my text question at 441140. Yes or no? And if yes or no, why? You can put a little answer there. And here's where it's coming down to. Really, the conversation is coming down to money. And those who are against the death penalty will use finance to support their initiative, of course. And those who are looking to save money in the state of California are looking at it, too, as another alternative. Here's some interesting numbers you might find that might add into your decision here. Since 1978, the state of California has executed 13 people. And how much does it cost the state to execute 13 people, do you think, since 1978? $4 billion.
Holy.
$308 million per execution in the state of California since 1978. It costs on average $100,000 a year more to house a death penalty individual. And the jury selection alone costs about $200,000 more per case. Not total, more than a normal case in a death penalty case. So, in the era that we're in, are you in favor of keeping the death penalty in the state of California? Yes or no? In theory, I am. In practice, I am not. Now, if you could take somebody right from the court decision, have another follow-up decision by another judge 30 days later, and then take them downtown and hang their ass right in the middle of the street, we'd have a deterrent.
Yes.
The average person sits on death row 25 to 30 years, and by the time they're coming ready to die, they're begging to die because they're so damn old and they're so sick of being there. There is no deterrent. It just doesn't deter anybody. So $4 billion on 13 executions since 1978 is money I probably would rather spend somewhere else. I just don't think we get a deterrent out of it. But that's me. I could be, like most cases, I'm probably wrong. But let me know what you think. 441140 Texas will give me your yes or no. Should we keep it? And then give me a little follow-up if you would, and see. We'll let that kind of hang out there a little bit too. It's an interesting conversation because it ain't just California. It's across the board.
Those are huge numbers.
States are looking at it too. Now I know probably some trial attorneys would be mad if we got rid of it. But so we'll let that go at 441140. We'll take that as our text question of the day, and we've got some other quiz questions we'll get to after the first break. I did want to bring up one note to myself because it seems like every week there's some kind of a theme of the week for whatever reason in the mortgage industry. For me, this week it was what I will call credit in dispute. Credit in dispute is something you probably don't hear of, and you might not even know that it's on your credit report, but it does have an effect on you. And I want to bring this up, particularly if you're looking to finance something, buying or refinancing, whatever. If you contact a creditor and you say, I'm disputing something about my account. I didn't make a late payment. I don't owe you that. There's something about my account I'm disputing with you. And you put a formal dispute in. The creditor makes a note that this account they kind of hold it off to the side. All the credit reporting agencies take your account. They kind of put it off to the side. And they say, hey, don't judge this account, if you will. Don't score this account because there's some dispute going on. And you may have done that 3 or 4 years ago and just because you were irritated and you resolved it and it didn't get pulled out of dispute. And what happens when a credit account gets held in dispute is it's not scored. It's not part of your credit score.
Yeah, it's like invisible.
Yeah, it sits out there. And usually it's the accounts that have some late payments or some issues with them that you hold out in dispute, right? You're sitting out there, so it's sitting here, and so you pull your credit score up, and in particular if you're right on the verge, if you need a 640 credit score to do most things in this world. And let's say you're right at 640, but we look at your account and there's 2 or 3 accounts that are sitting over here in dispute. What happens is, and what you have to know and what you have to do, and I know this is very technical, but we have to, in the mortgage industry, have to have all of your accounts active. And what happens is when we pull those accounts back out of dispute and put them back in your report, usually there's some derogatory items that go with them. And when they move back in, your score goes down. And it's very frustrating when you're out shopping for a house. First of all, it's very hard to find a house. You go through all this, you finally find one. At the last minute, they go, oh, hey, your Macy's account is in dispute. We need to pull it back into your account. So you call Macy's up and say, hey, pull it out of dispute. I'm fine. And Macy's says, okay, great. Well, you had a couple late payments on there, and they pull it back into your credit report. And now those 2 late payments you had, even 2 years ago, hit, and your score goes, boom, 635. You went from 640 to 635. So look at and this is why it's critical that at least once a year you look at your credit. You look at every account. Is it right? If it's not right, then try to get it corrected or get it fixed. But if do something with it. Be active on it.
Yeah, don't just look at the score.
Right. And again, I say to you, for those of you that are getting married, before you get married, ask to see. It sounds totally weird, but you got to know what you're marrying, and you're marrying somebody else's credit, and you'd be shocked to find out how many people are totally blown away that the person that they love and trust and all these things too was a total deadbeat on his credit up until 6 months ago, and you are now tying yourself. It doesn't mean your score will become affected by theirs, but the two of you together may not be able to do anything to buy a house, and it's an awkward conversation, before.
24 years old.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your credit score?
What does your credit look like? So those are the kind of things that have come up. But this in dispute has come up and up and up and over again too. So if you put something in dispute, get it resolved and get it back out, get it handled. So and look at your credit and see if that applies to you. And that is the end of the in dispute issue. But that was.
Oh yeah, it can be very detrimental for sure.
It's just one of it's like a little silent killer there. It sits there, and usually it sits there at the bottom. You think, oh, okay, my score is okay, even though I had these lates, and you read at the bottom, in dispute, and you realize, oop, that wasn't part of the credit score. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense, and hopefully if you've got a good lender, they'll look at that for you. But it is a very easy one to miss because usually they're tucked at the very end of your report, and people just look at the score and move on. And if you're an 800 score, it ain't going to matter.
Right.
But you still have to get them out of dispute.
Yes.
So we do have a quiz question at 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, and you can text us at 44-1140. Again, my text question for today at 44-1140, if you want to jump in, should the state of California continue the death penalty? This is for our text at 44-1140. Should you continue the death penalty, yes or no? And then give me a little brief synopsis why you think yes or no we shouldn't. As I mentioned there briefly, it cost us about $4 billion for the 13 executions we've had so far. Which doesn't make it right or wrong, but it does make it expensive. So should we continue that practice or not? And you got a quiz question for us there?
Sure, we're going to add on that. So since we're talking about this, so Brazil is looking to arrest which major company executive?
So Brazil wants to arrest a company executive?
Yes. Because of some different posts and things of that sort that may be on the internet that maybe screwing with some of their people.
Okay, so the country of Brazil wants to arrest the executive of this company. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 44-1140. I think this is a California company, isn't it?
It is.
It is a California company. Okay. Jerry Brown?
No.
Okay. This is Talkin' Money. My name is Jeff Tarbell. That's John Fodorero. We're going to be
right back.